If you are looking at Patek Philippe 3970 and you want to decide which series you like the most, this video is for you. Welcome to a new episode of Ancient Watches. We're going to do the complete collector guide to the 3970s. As many of you may know, the reference 3970 comes just after the well-known and important reference for Patek 2499. So we could consider this the first neo-vintage perpetual calendar chronograph for Patek, and it has a big importance because it was considered the last of the vintage pieces in their collection for perpetual chronographs. Later we have 5970, different proportions, still Lemania based movement, but already considered more a modern watch. So this would be the shift between real vintage and modern watches. To place the 3970 in history, we should first talk about the reference 1518. This would be the first chronograph perpetual calendar produced in series by Patek. Only 281 pieces produced. Yellow gold, pink gold, and the really famous 4 examples in stainless steel. Also one in stainless steel and gold is said to exist. But well, just to place it. After that, we begin with 2499. We have also 4 series. A total amount of 349 pieces were produced up to 1985. So 1986, we begin with the first 3970 produced, and these watches were in production until 2004 more or less. So if we think about this year is the 14th anniversary for the 3970, which is something we should take into account. This is the year where many of the references of the series are taking a lot of importance. This began already last year, but we think the market is very strong and collectors are really looking for this reference now. I would like to mention that we've noticed that the interest in this reference has grown a lot among our customers and collectors around the globe. In my opinion, because, well, we already said it's the neo-vintage perpetual calendar chronograph, but I feel collectors, they feel very safe with this reference. So there's a lot of traceability. Normally you have, many of them have papers, if not you have the extract. There's no surprises for restorations normally. So people feel very safe investing in this reference. And this is, in my opinion, one of the reasons why the market is very strong now. So to have a general vision of the reference, we should talk about a 36mm case produced by Atelier Réuni. It's a 28 stamped hallmark. We find them inside and outside the case, but we will see that later. Produced in the 4 metals. And yeah, we should also talk about the Lemania based movement. It's a 27-70 Q. We can also speak about 4 different languages we can find in the calendars. So it's English, Italian, French and German. And we should speak about a whole production of 4,000 pieces. There's 4 series, and we will see production for each of the series and all the different details and specifications stay in the video, and we will see each of them now. So first of all, we should speak about the first series. This is the rarest of all, with a very short production, only 100 pieces produced. As said, production began on 1986. And we should talk about the movement number, because this will follow on the rest of the series. So it starts in 875000, 100 pieces to be produced. And the main characteristic for this first series is the snap-on caseback, which means these watches were not meant to be waterproof. This is a feature we don't find in the next series, as they already show a screw-down caseback. And we should emphasize that 80 pieces were produced for the reference 3970, and they say 20 pieces for 3971. There's a big difference in price for 3971, it's rarer, and the difference among them is the caseback. 3971 shows a display caseback showing the movement, 3970 it's a closed caseback. Another unique characteristic for this series, and very important, is that the dial is a 2-tone dial. So we can see a difference in the color of the dial and the sub-counters, which gives a very vintage look. And it's really appreciated by collectors. There's a big difference in price if the dial is the 2-tone or a normal one, which could be argued if it's a later one. Another characteristic that we already share with the second series is that it features rectangular shaped indexes for the hours, and we have the leaf hands. Later series will have different markers and hands, as we will see. These ones came always with a buckle. We will see some of the 3970s later come with deployant also. And we can say that prices for the first series, especially in good condition, have skyrocketed, and they are quite similar to a late series 2499. So we can understand the importance of this reference, especially on this first series and the rarity. Okay, so if we go forward to second series, we have two nice pieces here, one in yellow gold, one in pink gold. Pink is quite rare, I must say. And this is of the fourth series. I would say this is my favorite because we can find many variations, many little details that make it more exciting. Okay, production for this was around 650 pieces. Again, 3971 is said to have produced like 150 to 200 pieces, rest for 3970. And an interesting detail is that here we find on the 3970 some of the watches were also delivered with a second caseback. So you find the closed caseback, and some of them have the display caseback too. It is said that some of these was as an extra order. I would say depend on the period, and some of them probably Patek was delivering already the two casebacks, even if the customer didn't ask for. Main difference on the second series against the first series is the caseback is now a screw down, it's not snap. So this gives the reference an E after the number, so it's 3970E. E comes for étanche, for waterproof in French. The dial is also different, it's not two-tone anymore. We find different kinds of dials, different kinds of scripts. We will see that now. And the hands and the markers are still the same. Important thing to note is that now we are talking about 4 metal produced, so pink, yellow and white gold, also platinum. First series was only produced in yellow gold. Talking about the dials, I would say we need to take into account transitional parts or transitional pieces. So in some early second series you will find the two-tone dial, but mainly in the second series there's an opaline silver dial, which I would like to mention, different graphics and different finishings especially. We have noted in the last years, studying all the second series we had, that the finishing of the subdials are different. I could say like the guilloche, it's very subtle, you don't even notice, and the look is more matte or more creamy. And later ones, you have like a deeper guilloche, which is even recognizable with the naked eye, and it gives more like a soleil or reflective feeling. For me, the first ones are nicer, they look more vintage. Also, we should talk about the difference on the calendar graphics. So early ones, also in the first series, we didn't mention, have the serifs on the writings. And this carries on the early second series, and later second series show more a type writing font. You should take a look at that when buying these watches, because sometimes a disc on the calendar can be changed, and well, it's always nice to have all original pieces. Here we can start finding exciting dials differences, which market likes a lot. One of the most important will be the doré dial. The look of the dial is like more goldish, and it's amazing piece. Like a couple went for auction, yellow gold with doré dial, and the prices are very high, like for the first series one. So that's very nice. We can also find double sign dials, which is important. I saw a couple for Tiffany, and probably maybe you can find for other retailers. And we can find also different colors for the different metals. So white, gold and platinum will have a different finishing on the dial. And what excites me more about this reference, and we've been studying about this in the past, you might have seen an old video where we were talking about a piece we had like totally transitional with big hallmarks, is the different cases, or especially the different placement of the hallmarks during the second series, which is very interesting. So we find the early series that have the hallmarks are stamped on the caseback, so just 2 hallmarks on the caseback, no hallmarks on the case, which is quite rare. Okay, these were for the early ones. Then we find 2 hallmarks on the sides of the locks. Okay, when the watches are in this condition, this is like a new stock. This one is unpolished, but this is new old stock, so you can really see the hallmarks. But when they have some polishing, these disappear. So this is early ones, like from 87 onwards. Then there's a period, very interesting, I would say 89, 90 and 91, for what I have seen in the pieces we had and in the market, that we find what the collectors call the big hallmarks. And these watches have a big premium. Collectors really like them. And it's 4 hallmarks stamped on the side. On the higher lac on the right, we find the 750 stamp. It's very deep normally. Sometimes it's stamped a little bit more subtle. I've seen unpolished cases with a more subtle stamp, but normally it's very deep. And also the case maker stamp, very big on the other side. The other 2 hallmarks are also stamped on the side. So we have 4 hallmarks, and really big and noticeable. Especially when we talk about white gold or other metals, prices are very high. So after the big hallmarks, I would say 1991, I've seen the last big hallmarks, but already in the 90s and 89s, we find again the 2 hallmarks stamped on the side. So not every watch from 1989 or on the 90 have big hallmarks. It's just a short production, and that's why they are so interesting. So it's believed that second series were produced until 1990, 1991, but I would like to point out that some of them were produced also in 1992. For example, we have this pink gold, second series, very nice condition. And this is produced in 1992, for what the extract says. I found studying that another one went for auction, just the serial number beside, in movement and case, and also about the movements. They were saying that second series should have a 875 movement, but in fact this is a 876. The other one at auction, it sold at Christie's many years ago. It was also at 876. So I think there's a lot to be discovered and found on the 3970, especially in the second series, because the reference is getting a lot of attention, and we are going deeper and deeper into it. So, for example, the transitional piece we showed you a few months ago, where we had a second series case with the big hallmarks, very interesting, and a third series movement. So Patek was producing these, the production was not massive, and sometimes they had some spare cases or whatever, and they assembled together. Even there's some watches, we will come later to that, produced later with some cases that remained way later than the production finished for this reference. Another interesting part is the buckle or the deployant. First series is always buckle. Early second series show also the buckle with the vintage look, okay? But in this series we start finding some of them with the deployant clasp. So I think this could be ordered as an extra, and also like the caseback, like we said. So let's go into the third series. This is where big changes begin also. So we still have the closed caseback, it's the same, but there's big changes on the dial and the hands. So the hands are now button hands, not leaf hands anymore, and the indexes are pointed indexes. The production on this is around 1,350 pieces, and we don't have 3971 reference anymore, because they were already supplied with both casebacks. So it had no sense for Patek to offer the reference with the display caseback. We could also point out about the dial that the graphics also change. They are like thinner, and maybe the colors of the dial are a little bit brighter. And in some metals we can find black dials. So white, gold and platinum were also produced with black dials. In white gold normally it will be a dial with indexes, with pointed or faceted indexes. Sometimes you can find maybe the diamond dial, but that is more normal for platinum. If it's black, normally you will find the diamond dial. Some of them were produced with the indexes, and then there's some of them, like this one, with the white and pointed indexes, which for me is the nicest configuration. So if we then focus on the calendar, at the beginning we still have the typewriting font, and later on we find a more bold, like non-serif font that will go onto the 4th series. It is also interesting to note that we could find either the buckle in a more modern shape, depending on which, because you can also find the old shape, and the Ployan clasps now. It's also interesting to note that we find some of these watches with 875 movements and mainly 876 movements. Production for this is estimated to begin in 1989. I would say maybe a little bit later, but this is what people discuss about, and produced until 1995. So again, we have like not transitional pieces, but not everything is exactly finishing in one number, beginning in the next. Okay, so now we head up to the 4th series. Production is estimated on 2,000 pieces in all 4 metals, and we say that production for this began in 1994, up to 2004. This series would be very, very similar to the 3rd series. They look almost the same. So dial is going to be the same markers, same hands. The big difference is on the movement number and case numbers, especially movement numbers that are not 876 anymore and begin in 3 million, 3045. So again, case is going to be the same, no big differences. The hallmarks, either on 3rd and 4th series, are placed outside the lugs, but we should note that around 99, I would say, this changes and we find 4 hallmarks below the lugs until the end of production. And people believe that 4 series were always consigned with the deployant, so not an extra order anymore, but always given with the deployant and not the buckle anymore. For me, this is not completely correct, okay? On all the pieces we had and what I've been studying, I've seen platinum normally coming with a deployant, but for example, here we have a piece with a buckle, and I found others in the past. We have also this yellow gold coming with the buckle, and the pink gold coming with the deployant. What I've noticed is that for pieces produced until 96 and 97, many of them come with the buckle. So I would say that's something I suppose that Patek was delivering the watches with the deployant from 97 onwards. Before, you can find both. Maybe it was an extra order, but I wouldn't say that all 4th series are consigned with deployant. So as a general view, this would be for the 4th series. We also find some 3970s with the integrated bracelet, so it would be the /2. They are very interesting. I think the look is very nice, okay? And we should also talk about production stopped in 2004, but we find very interesting pieces that were produced after. So in 2007, there were a set of 4 3970s produced with the Breguet numerals, with different dials. One of these sets was auctioned in Christie's in Geneva recently, and prices were really high. We could also talk about the ones they name like the London edition, which was produced for the Saatchi Gallery in 2015. Those are very interesting too, pink gold with black dial, or also some pieces produced for Michael Ovitz, the former Disney president, that are visible because they have the 2 initials like in a logo at 6 o'clock, which is also very rare. Those pieces fetch very important prices. So as an overview for the reference, this is it. I think it's very interesting to talk also about the market for these watches. Prices grew really a lot, especially in 2025. They might be more stable in 2026, but I still expect an increase, especially for the rare pieces. 1st series are already very highly priced. 2nd series might still grow a little bit, especially the normal ones. We can say that the big hallmarks were already selling very high. We can find a couple of pieces at Philips, at Christie's, and those prices were already high. But the more normal ones still deserve some attention, like this one in pink or this one in yellow in new old stock condition. I think these watches will be very sought after, especially for the condition. It's important because the faceted lacks we didn't mention are very subtle, so when they have some polishing, this step disappears. I would say the condition is very important. We focus a lot on this. All of these are in very, very nice condition. Also rare metals, platinum with the white dial. I think this is also a watch that could grow during 2026, especially again in this condition, unpolished with a very nice dial, full set. Also an important thing when we're talking especially on third and fourth series. It's difficult sometimes to find first series, second series with the papers. Obviously it's a plus, but I would always focus more on condition. Third series, fourth series, I think more recent watches having the papers is more important. Said this, and always focusing on condition, you know, this is the key point for us, the most important. Obviously, I would prefer buying a second series or first series, but I would give more importance to condition. So I would rather have a third series in top condition than a very over-polished second series. So focus more on condition, buy the best you can in your budget, and don't give too much importance to paperwork if we're talking about older or first, second series models. So I hope you found this video interesting. If you have any questions or any requests about the reference, you can text us, write us. All this will go for sale. As said, it's the best we have been able to source lately. All of them are in very nice conditions, so if you're interested in any of them, you can also contact us. And yeah, please stay tuned for more, follow us, and hope to see you soon in the next video.